Come on. All right, we're publishing to YouTube, posting a tweet. I believe everything is live. What is going on, guys? Welcome to Crypto Coffee's channel. We're here today to talk all about what everybody wants to talk about, right? Which is the origin address, and that's all any of the haters want to talk about. So I figured I'd make a video on stream about that very topic and give all you guys the chance to, troll my comments and do whatever you want to do. Make it more fun. Because I hope that when people watch this video in the future, they're going to learn about kind of why the origin address is not necessarily good or bad. In fact, you can make an argument much more easy that it's good, actually. Everybody wants to talk about. Basically, guys, there's really simple arguments that keep being rehashed over and over and over again. And I'm tired of repeating myself because I feel like I've addressed this topic a lot in the past, I've addressed it a lot, and it keeps coming back up. So I feel like maybe it's time to make a new video about that. The origin address is something that kind of objectively is neither good nor bad. It just kind of is. It just kind of exists, and it sits there, and it hasn't been doing anything. But in effect, it's actually been one of the greatest parts about HEX so far. I mean, we've been going on for what, 290 days? Something like that. 290 days. And, I mean, the origin address hasn't moved anything. The origin address, I believe, initially kind of... what's going on outside? The origin address, I believe, initially staked a couple of long stakes for a few million. Hey, what's up, Trevor Hansen? What's up, Kinetics? What's up, Northernmost Hexer? What's going on, Max Bonnet? I love the idea of the benefits of the OA too, and that's what this video is all about. So I'm going to document this for future kind of people to go back and look at, because, again, it's the number one hater troll target of, oh my God, somebody owns 75% of all the coins, and it just, they just never shut up about it. And you try to teach them, you try to say the same talking points, and it just, that you never seem to hear the end of it. So I'm hoping we can all have a nice little chat here. And if you're still curious about the origin address, if you haven't heard of HEX yet, or maybe you heard the origin address is bad, well, check out the slide in front of you. And these are essentially the three main reasons why that I'm going to cover in depth. Why the origin address is not inherently a bad thing at all. It's objectively neutral, and it's actually been serving the HEX project in a positive way. What's going on, Archie? Hey, Coffee. Here we go again with the origin address. I know, man. I'm sure you guys are all sick of hearing about it because I feel like everyone in my chat is going to be kind of an OG. But again, this is for the noobs that come on later, and I just wanted to have you guys in here to just make it more fun, spice it up a little bit. The OA is a stabilizer, a bit like a bouncer at a club. That's right, the sapper. The OA is essentially this giant whale or group of whales. It's ended up being many different accounts, right? It's distributed a lot more than other projects, which we'll talk about. But it's been distributed into many different accounts. And everybody likes to point fingers and say, oh, it's Richard Hart. But, I mean, there's other people that worked on this thing too, guys. I mean, it's unlikely to be all Richard Hart, even though he is the face of everything. People just like to have a finger to point at somebody. But the fact that even if you do point the finger at him, it's like, since when has he ever indicated any kind of bad intentions of wanting to destroy and self-destruct his own fucking project? I mean, come on, guys. The OA is a benevolent whale. Max Bonnet, I agree. Vince Chang says, I think the HEX copycats out there will eventually see the tragedy of the commons ruin their projects because they have no OA. I think so too. I think it's only a matter of time. And maybe it's dangerous to launch this video because maybe the copycats are going to copy this scenario. But HEX has such far first mover advantage that I don't think there's any risk of any kind of competitors, really. I mean, why would you need another HEX? This HEX that we have works just fine, and it's designed way better than anything else that I've seen. Archie S. Once big payday's over, it'd be all systems go. I've only been in HEX since day 2. What's up, Balia Brand? How you going, man? It's good to see all you guys in the chat. And before I get too caught up in the chat, let's talk about the topics on the screen, huh? Number 1 is the whole idea that economic centralization is not the same as technical centralization, guys. It's not. Okay, so technical centralization means admin keys, backdoors, fake governance, right? What I mean by fake governance is tokens that are given out to people that, for example, the uni token, massive airdrop to everybody. Only the big whales can vote anyway. You have to have 1 million uni tokens in order to cast a vote. And not to mention, even in the projects that do there are projects out there that technically have what they call fair governance, and they give a little bit to everybody to make it so-called technically decentralized. But then it's like you're just letting any idiot with a keyboard vote. I mean, I'm personally not qualified to make technical decisions in the Ethereum protocol. I would have no idea what's the right thing to do. So the fact that people dumber than me and dumber, are out there talking about fair distribution, it's like, I don't know. It never really clicked for me. There's some experiments in technical decentralization. Let's pull up this article here. I think YFI. I'm going to talk about some shitcoins, right? Because I just want to pull up examples. And I'm not trying to talk... I didn't mean to say shitcoins. I'm not trying to talk crap about any coins, but there's basically a lot of coins out there that are claiming and trying to do a fair distribution of their governance tokens. And I'm not saying that it's not going to work. Well, I'm kind of saying it's not going to work. I don't expect it to work, but they're just experiments, and they have a long time to go. Like, I heard about this YFI token. I haven't done my research on it. I'm not, suggesting anybody goes and buys it at all. In fact, maybe I shouldn't even be bringing it up, but this was a token for the Year in Finance platform that was supposed to have the guy that created it, this Andre Cronje guy, said it's a completely valueless zero supply token. It's only meant for voting, right? But then you give it to people, and if it's an ERC20, you can't stop them from putting it on Uniswap. You can't. So obviously people put it on Uniswap, and check this out. Because there's only 900 tokens in the liquidity pool, the price is crazy high. The price is something like thousands of dollars per token, I think, because there's only 916 tokens available. You want to talk about centralization, guys, look at the liquidity providers in the Uniswap token of this one. Now, I'm not trying to pick on this one, but this is an easy target because you've got 30% owned by this guy, 16% owned by this guy, 12% owned by this guy. That's 50% of your tokens owned by 3 addresses who might or might not be the same person. So when you talk about risk of rug pull, the rug pulling risk is pretty universal, guys. It's pretty universal. And just to check out HEX over here, yeah, that's a shit ton of HEX on this side and a lot of ETH on this side, and it's divided up in many different addresses. Now, whether or not you want to argue this is all one person or a group of people, we can do that all day long. We'll never know because it's anonymous, right? But that looks a lot better to me in terms of pool ownership than a lot of these other ones. Again, not trying to pick on YFI at all, just pointing out that liquidity and the risk of getting the rug pulled out is an inherent risk on all these decentralized exchanges, because you got to have somebody incentivized to actually put up this liquidity. And it's not going to be the little guys. Well, it shouldn't be, because the little guys aren't going to make any money off of it. Let's go back to the chat. What's going on here? X Rapid, the creator. Hey, just started HEX. Am I too late? I don't think you're too late at all, man. In fact, you're just right on time, right before the big payday. The big payday is coming up in, I don't know, 55 or 54 days. So X Rapid, you are at one of the best times in all of history to get involved in this project. If you don't know what the big payday is, I made a previous video about it. I don't want to get sidetracked, and that's not going to be the topic of this video. But welcome here, man. Good to have you. Joe Terry says, Hex is good. I want to design my own on another platform beyond Ethereum. Well, maybe, man. I think a lot of people are going to have the same idea. I think the question for me, I guess, would be what would give that one more value than the original. Steven Hex, definitely not rapid. It's still in the launch phase. That's right, dude. Whoever just got involved is definitely not too late. It's the launch phase. This is where the new whales are being created, right? Archie S. sold all my uni. It was just nice to get free dosh. Yeah, it's nice to get free money. Free money is amazing. I didn't make a video about that, but when the free Uniswap airdrop came, a lot of the Hex holders had used Uniswap before. A lot of them made $2,000, $6,000 on for free overnight. Never too late for Hex. Alan says, my opinion on liquidity is the community should provide it rather than the OA or big entities. That's true. I mean, it might be true, right? Like, I think we're going to get there eventually. But right now, to kind of bootstrap and just to start off in a coin, that kind of goes into tragedy of the commons, right? So we can talk about that point next. It's like, if you just start off a brand new coin, not many people are going to feel like they're part of it enough to want to sacrifice a lot of liquidity, because when you're putting up liquidity on these exchanges, you're not able to realize any of the staking rewards, at least in Hex. Maybe there's other coins where providing liquidity is more attractive because maybe you get some kind of alternative token. I don't want to go down all these rabbit holes, but yeah, it's like when you're starting off, I think it kind of has to be centralized, right? So let's talk about tragedy of the commons, because that is another one of the bullet points on why the origin address is, I think, good. It has to also, you could also apply the argument to liquidity too. So you could apply it to just centralized ownership of coins economically in the beginning. But let's read over the Wikipedia, right? So tragedy of the commons. So we can all read it together so we sound smart and educated when we're debating with people. A lot of people might know of the term, but what it actually means is a situation in a shared resource system where individual users, acting independently according to their own self-interest, actually behave contrary to the common good of everybody else by depleting the shared resource through their collective action. So, tragedy of the commons. Let's take a look at some of the not factors, but examples. So it's used in environmental science, often cited with sustainable development. Blah, blah, blah. Overfishing, I guess, if everybody wants to eat fish. And hold on a second. Let's find a better example. So the modern commons could be, in economics, an externality is a cost or benefit that affects a party who did not choose to incur that cost or benefit. So there's negative externalities, which are a feature of tragedy of the commons. So, for example, if you drive a car, everybody needs to get somewhere, but by acting in everyone's own self-interest, you pollute the environment and cause traffic accidents. So you have these negative externalities. Just like if you give an equal amount of a coin for everyone to start, nobody has this skin in the game and nobody is incentivized to act rationally for the project in the long term. So a lot of times people will just try to sell their token. So I think it's necessary to bootstrap adoption, and over time, things will become more decentralized like we all want, right? But,